So, if you spend any time in the Linux command line, you know that just about everything is text. We're talking logs, configurations. It's a massive sea of information. Today, we're diving into the tools that let you navigate that sea like an absolute pro. Regular expressions. This really is your command line superpower. Let's get into it.
All right, here's our game plan. We'll kick things off by seeing why these tools are such a superpower. Then we'll meet the whole grep family, unlock the patterns they use, learn how to actually edit text with sed, and we'll wrap up with some pro tips so you can avoid the common pitfalls.
You know, if you're a system admin or maybe you're a developer studying for your LPIC-1, your entire world is just filled with text files. And finding that one critical piece of information, it can seriously feel like you're searching for a needle in a digital haystack.
Does this sound familiar? You're on the hunt for one specific error in a log file that's thousands of lines long, or maybe you need to track down every single time a setting is mentioned across a dozen config files. Yeah, just scrolling and reading line by line, that's not going to happen. There's got to be a better way, right?
Well, there is. It's the regular expression, or as you'll hear all the time, regex. Now, a regex isn't a command by itself. Think of it more like a pattern template. You define the pattern, what you're looking for, and then you hand it to a tool, and that tool does all the heavy lifting, all the filtering. This is the secret to finding that needle.
So, the first and probably most famous family of tools for this job is grep. But here's the thing, it's not just one command. It's really a suite of tools, and each one has its own little specialty. Let's meet the family.
Okay, let's start with the simplest member of the family, fgrep. That F stands for fixed. This tool doesn't care about any fancy patterns, it just looks for an exact, literal string of text. It is blazing fast and absolutely perfect for when you know precisely what you're looking for. No frills, no fuss.
Now, you'll often see fgrep used like this, grep with a -f flag. It does the exact same thing. In this example, we're just searching the system log for the literal text error.log. See? No special characters, no confusion, just a super quick, direct search for that exact string.
All right, next up is the original, the classic grep. This is the workhorse of the family, the one you'll use day in and day out. It understands what we call basic regular expressions. And this is what lets you start building simple patterns, like finding lines that begin with a certain word.
And for the final level up, we have egrep. That E is for extended. This is the same as typing grep/E, and it unlocks extended regular expressions. This is where things get really powerful, and you can start doing more complex logic, like searching for lines that contain either this word or that word. So let's just recap real quick. Use fgrep when you need speed and you're looking for fixed strings. Use grep for your daily pattern matching needs, and then pull out egrep when you need that extra logical firepower, like an OR search. Honestly, choosing the right tool is half the battle.
Okay, so we've met the tools. Now let's get into the real magic that powers them, the patterns themselves. We're just going to look at a few of the most important special characters that you are definitely going to use all the time.
The first two are called anchor characters, the caret and the $sign. I love this description because they literally anchor your search to a specific part of the line. The caret anchors to the beginning, and the $sign anchors to the end. This is what gives your search incredible precision. Just look at the difference here. On the left, a simple search for root finds every single line that has that word anywhere in it. But look at the right. By adding that little caret anchor, we're telling grep to only show us lines that begin with root. Bam! Instantly, our search is way more focused and way more useful. And you guessed it, the $$ does the exact opposite. So if you wanted to find all the users who have the bash shell, for example, you could search for bash $ to find only the lines that end with the word bash. These two anchors are absolutely fundamental.
Remember egrep? Well, its killer feature is this vertical bar, or pipe symbol. It just means or. This command right here will find any line containing either the word cat or the word dog. You can't do that with plain old grep, and it's incredibly powerful when you're digging through complex logs.
So far, we've only been finding stuff, but what if you want to actually change it? Well, for that, we turn to another legendary command line tool, sed, the stream editor.
The whole secret to understanding sed is right there in its name, stream editor. It doesn't try to load a whole giant file into memory. Instead, it just reads the input one line at a time, like a stream of water flowing by, applies your command to that one line, and then prints the result. This makes it insanely efficient, even on enormous files.
Okay, check out the most common sed command, substitute.
Imagine you have a line that says, I love cake and more cake. On the left, the basic sed command only replaces the first time it sees cake. But look at the right. By adding that little /G for global, we tell sed to replace every single instance on the line. It's a tiny change that makes a huge difference.
Now, by default, sed is really safe. It just prints the changes out to your screen. It doesn't actually touch your original file. But there is a way to make those changes permanent, and it comes with a pretty serious warning label. And here it is, the I flag. It stands for in-place editing. And when you use it, sed will overwrite your original file with the changes. There is no confirmation prompt. There is no "Are you sure?" And there is absolutely no undo button. You have to use this with extreme caution.
And that brings us to our final section. We've seen how incredibly powerful these tools are, so let's go over some common mistakes and best practices to make sure you're using them safely and with confidence. Here are the top 3 traps people fall into. First, trying to use an extended pattern, like that OR pipe with basic grep. It just won't work. You need egrep for that. Second, always wrap your pattern in quotes. If you don't, the command line itself might try to interpret those special characters, and things get weird. And finally, the big one. Never, ever use sed-I until you are 100% sure your command does what you think it does. Please always follow this safe 3-step workflow. Step 1. Find. Use grep to make sure your pattern is targeting the exact lines you want to change. Step 2. Test. Run your sed command without the -I flag. This lets you preview the changes on your screen. And finally, only when you are absolutely certain it's perfect do you apply the change by adding that -I flag. Remember, find, test, apply. Wow, we have covered a lot, from finding text with the grep family to completely modifying it with sed. You now have the fundamental tools to search, filter, and edit text like a real command line pro. So the only question left is, what text-based challenge are you going to solve first?